Now, I'm not going to lie. I never thought that not just getting healthy, but staying healthy was something that I could ever do. In my late 20s, early 30s, I was 210 pounds at my heaviest. I'd had 4 kids by then. I didn't understand how my body worked. I was frustrated. I was tired. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I just didn't know what to do. I tried everything. I yo-yo dieted. I've been dieting off and on since I was 12 years old. I'd watched my mother go through this frustration. It just never seemed to be something that I could quite grasp and get a hold of. So, in my mid 30s, when I finally figured it out, it was a big deal. Now, it started one year when, for my anniversary, I took my then husband to a local town where they had a climbing wall, a rock wall. And I just wanted to, do something different. And so we took the little class, and then we were doing the rock wall. And I did really great when it was like this, but I really struggled when it was a straight up wall or an overhang. I couldn't put, close to 200 pounds on my fingers and pull myself up. And so that day I decided, I just want to be stronger. I want to get stronger. I want to feel a little bit better. If I can't lose weight and I can't figure this out, let's at least get stronger and make myself feel good. So I came back. I hired a trainer because I had done lots and lots of cardio. I'd slink into the gym. I'd do my 30 minutes of cardio and I'd slink back out, and nothing ever changed. And I was just frustrated. And that was the day that I learned to lift. I started on a whole new journey. My trainer taught me how to do strength training, and that made such a huge difference. First of all, it was something I'm good at. I'm short, so I built, pretty decent muscle over some short levers. Now, granted, in the beginning, it was newbie gains. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I felt strong, and I really liked how that felt. And then over time, I got to the point where I did start working with food, and I had something called a body bug, which went on the arm, which is a lot like a Fitbit today, but a lot more accurate. And I figured out the whole calories in, calories out. I started tracking my food, and that was incredible. It made a big difference. But it really dawned on me that, if I could do this, anybody could do this. I spent a good majority of my life, let alone my adult life, being frustrated and not understanding how this worked, and listening to, the information that's out there that is obviously incorrect. And so that started my journey as a personal trainer and coach. So, I learned a lot about personal training. I took the test. I started training in a small gym, and I loved it. I loved helping people feel good, and I loved teaching people, how to love exercise, because that's not something I grew up with. My mom didn't like exercise. I tried a couple of sports, but she wasn't really into organized sports, and that was kind of a struggle. So, the things I wanted to do, I couldn't do. And I looked at people who were athletic, and I just envied everything they had. Not just their ability, but their desire to actually, exercise and use their bodies in a physical way, because I just didn't know how to enjoy that. So, as I went along, I started to teach people, and I loved it. At one point, though, I realized I was going backwards just a little bit, and I needed something. I'm very goal-oriented. I love having something to work towards. I've always been that way. A word I would use in that is called driven. So, at that point, I had to make a decision. I had to set a new goal. And so at the time, I'd known a couple people at the gym that had competed in the bodybuilding industry. And I talked to a couple people, and they're like, yeah, you might as well try it. It's interesting. And so I found a coach and set off for my first fitness experience on stage. Now, I started in figure, and I was tiny. My first time on stage, and people were concerned about me. Competing is very, very difficult. You're putting your body in a position where it has to use every little last bit of fat on it in order to survive and to function. And it was tough. I had people say, we're really concerned about you. Now, of course, I know a little bit better, and I know what to say, but it was difficult, but it was amazing. It was an amazing journey. And ever since then, it was a little bit addicting. Now, I'm not saying that people should actually compete. It's definitely, once you have the basics down in the lifestyle, then you can determine whether or not you want to push yourself a little bit further and put your body under that. because it's harder than people think. And one of the things I've learned is that most people think they can get there without doing most of the hard work, and that is not true. Well, you can, you're just not going to win, and you're not going to look as good as you possibly can. But that's where I started. Now, the whole reason I bring this up is that at the time that I started, I had 5 children at home. In my 30s, let's see, that would have put my oldest, in his like early teens. And then I had a baby somewhere in there. My son is almost 15 right now. So, that was quite the situation to have to try and juggle, all those kids. And I was substitute teaching at the time. So I was working at one point, it was a full-time substitution, long-term sub position, in a junior high math class, which of course I find fascinating since math is not my strong suit. But, I was trying to juggle multiple things. I was trying to juggle, children that were learning to drive, little ones, toddlers. I had the age range of my kids right now is 15 to 27. So, 10 plus years ago, you can see about how old they were. But I learned that in order to be the best mom and the best wife that I could possibly be, I had to be the best to me in order to be that way, because you cannot give out of an empty bucket. I've learned that over the years, that when I was taking good care of myself, even just mentally and physically, it made a huge difference in how I behaved and how I treated my children, and whether or not I could keep up with that and not burn out on life. And so, this series is designed to help you as a mother, or just as a busy woman, figure out how to become healthy and stay there. And I'm excited. I'm calling it the Fit Mom Fitness Lab. It's like a Fit Mom University. You're gonna figure out. This is about you against you. This is about you figuring out your groove and finding out what works for you. And even if it's you figuring out on your own without professional help, that is okay. Predominantly, for the most part, that's how I did it. I mean, I did use a trainer, and I have used various coaches over the years, and I have taken some classes, nutrition and otherwise, in order to figure things out and educate myself, because that's where I lacked. For me, it was about educating myself on how the body really, truly, correctly works biologically. Not the garbage that they tell us, and the noise, whether that's the fitness industry or the nutrition industry or the food industry, which is going to tell you a bunch of garbage that's not true because they want to sell you something. This is about figuring out how your body specifically works, and as I work with clients, everything's customized because your goals are different than my goals. Everybody's different when it comes to age, gender, preferences, traditions, family. Everything that you've experienced in your life and your goals even are so different. You can't take something off the internet, somebody else's plan, apply it to yourself and think that you're going to be successful, because it's not designed for you. As I work with clients, I really believe I take some basic formulas, yes, but I like the communication and the feedback, because that's how I educate. That's also how we build a plan that works for you. That's how you find your groove. That's how when you do fall down, how do we fix that? How do we look at that trigger and go back and make some adjustments so that we can figure out how you work best? Because whatever you do to get to your goal, you have to keep doing to stay at your goal. And if you think that it's a quick fix and you're going to get there super fast, like I have to get there fast to stay motivated, I'm sorry, hon, that is not how this is going to work. Whether you're a girl or a guy, that is not how this works. This is a lifestyle. This is figuring out how to work around those kids when they're little, or now they're all but one gone, adults. I have a teenager left. So it's how does that work in order to still stay optimal? Because, I'm 48, I'm almost 50 years old. I want to keep going. I want to still look good, feel good, and be happy, and be able to travel and do the things I want to do at this time in my life. So this is designed to help educate you, or help you find your groove and help you to find what works best for you. Hence the lab. There's going to be some trial and error, some trying things out. You might make a hypothesis, and then try it out and see if it works. And if not, then we make adjustments to the formula. That's what we're going to do. So stay tuned for all of the episodes of this. I'm super excited about this. I've been working on it for quite a while, and I finally decided the perfectionist has got to give up and just be quiet and take a step back and let me do what I need to do, because I know that there are people out there that want to be happy and healthy and just don't know how to get there. And I'm really excited to hopefully give you some ideas and help you with that. So stay tuned.